My name is Roger Johnson. I like taking pictures and I love to travel. Whether it's working as a professional tour guide, a flight attendant, or on my own for fun. Across America or around the world, this is my show. Hello and welcome once again to another Welcome to America Adventure Update. It is July 2013 and we're very excited here because we're trying something new. I always want to try something new. Live via the internet, via the Skype, via satellite. I don't know, is there a satellite involved? We don't know. We've got Mr. Rob Nelson from Untamed Science there in North Carolina. How's it going, Rob?
Good, good.
So, last year, July's Adventure Update, I talked to my 50 States, 50 Days travel partner, Haley, who happens to be Rob's wife. This year I wanted to talk to you because in addition to being a self-proclaimed nerd, you are a nerd, right?
A nerd's the best kind of person to be, right?
But in addition to being a nerd, you're also cool. And not too many people can balance those two things out the way that you do. I'm cool. I'm very cool. I don't have an ounce of nerd in me. Ounce, that would be the correct term, right?
Well, I like geek.
Geek. I'm not sure about geek.
Term,
I'm cool, maybe that's why. But you do cool things, and that's why we've got you here today. One of the cool things that you do is the whitewater kayaking. How did you actually get started doing this? Was it something you started as a kid? What's the story?
Nope. It's actually not something I picked up until recently, but I have been a water sports person my whole life. I grew up on a lake, and so I grew up wakeboarding and water skiing and barefooting and everything. And then I moved to Hawaii back when I was 21, and I ended up buying my own sailboat, and so I bought my first 2 kayaks while I was on my sailboat, and I had to use those to kayak to shore every day. So for 2 years while I lived on my boat, I paddled about 2 miles every day. But actually, I guess when I was 29, so like 4 years ago, I got my first whitewater kayak when we were doing a video about the Grand Canyon, because I figured instead of just rafting with everybody, it'd be more fun if I kind of started to learn something like whitewater kayaking, and I was completely scared kayaking in the whitewater, and it's progressed since then. I do it pretty much every day now.
So now you're doing this project on the Grand Canyon. You actually got to go to the Grand Canyon last summer or last fall? Do a trip?
Yep. Yeah. Actually, we did our first run on the Grand Canyon, official run, in this January. So it was this winter, which is the less ideal time to do it.
There's a permitting process and there's a lottery, and you guys won the lottery, and that was the slot that you guys were given.
Yep. Yeah, everybody can do the Grand Canyon with organized tours, but if you want to do a private trip, which is what we did, you have to have a tour leader who applies for a permit. And the permits, they do the lottery every year in like February, but it turns out that there's way fewer people that put in for the January time slots. So we won it last year. I say we, I just jumped in on the crew, but somebody else on the team won it this year as well. So if anybody wants to go next year, there's probably spots open. Okay. Now you said you train every day. Tell me a little a bit about the training process that you do. I got to see a little bit of it. Sure. Tell me what is your regimen? Well. Yeah, so kayaking is kind of an interesting sport. There's all sorts of different types of whitewater kayaking. I started out doing play boating and river running. And what I've started to do now is slalom racing, which is in really long fiberglass boats, and you go around poles, right? It's what they do in the Olympics. And so I have a training partner, and we go every day from 1 to 3-ish, and we just run laps and try to turn as fast as we can until we're exhausted, and then we leave. Not only do you train there, this is the U.S. Whitewater Center there in Charlotte, North Carolina. The U.S. Olympic team trains there as well. That's their home base. This is the place in the country to come if you're a whitewater kayaker, and I would say a majority of the people around the country that do it all live here right now anyway. There's more than just the whitewater rafting and the kayaking. What else is there at the Whitewater Center? I visited this place 3 years ago, and I was amazed. They have rafting, they have ropes courses, they have mountain biking. They have obstacle courses. They have flat water kayaking. It's kind of like an adult playground. You know, even with the kayaking, they have conveyor belts and stuff, and so you go down a course and you ride up on the conveyor, and you go down and you ride up. So it's kind of like you're at a theme park, except it's so not rides.
And the rock climbing walls were there, and the zip line, and very fun for just about anybody. That's the thing, is they even let me in, and that's the main thrust of where we wanted to go with this, because I came down to visit primarily to go and do this very thing, and we had some options of what we wanted to do, and I kind of left myself into your learned hands to guide me through the whole process. You put me in what it's called a flat top, was that what it was, where I'm sitting on top of the boat instead of inside?
Yeah, it's sit on top kayak is what we put you in. Yep.
Okay. And why did we do that as opposed to the
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert at teaching, first of all, but I've done it enough times that I know some of the things that you don't want to get people into right away. First of all, whitewater kayaking is kind of a scary sport because you're strapped into a boat, and if you go upside down, you got to get back up really quick, right? Well, they have these sit-on-top kayaks which you were in that are really nice because it allows you to flip over and you just fall out. So it takes a lot of the danger out of it. And actually, to be totally honest with you, most of the time, if I was to have a new person, we wouldn't go down all of what we did right away because I wouldn't want to freak them out. But you were doing a video on it, so I was like, well, all right, we got the cameras rolling, let's get a little carnage. And I knew you were going to fall. I knew you didn't get beat up, though. Most people get beat up.
I was fairly comfortable in it. So you start out on the pool on top, and it's flat water, and I've done flat water canoeing. Not quite the same thing. How did I do?
Pretty much as expected. I mean, you got through. I remember you got through right away, but then you got flipped. And that water is running so fast that if you were to have gone through clean the first time, I would have been pretty amazed, and I would have told you should start taking this up as a sport full-time because you have a gift.
No, I did bail. I managed to, you wanted me to stay to the left of where the water comes together, and I did that, and I swamped over, and so much water up top, I was able to jump back in the boat kind of and scramble in before the next set of rapids or whatever. Here, there was so much, and so I kind of got myself caught between the main flow, and there's like an eddy with the current coming back the other way, and I was just trying to hang on. And so you were a good instructor. You saved my life. That's the first priority. And then the second thing you did is you threw me back in. Well, you kind of slid me back in. We talked through what we did, what I did, what I needed to do different, and then you put me right back into. So I didn't, but it was a fun experience. So very fun. Although I don't know because I was thinking about this in the week that followed or so. I don't know if fun is the right word for it. I'm going to get philosophical here. You're in the middle of, you don't have time to have fun. You're in the moment. And they always tell you need to live in the moment. And you have no choice but to be, and I think that's the same with any other kind of extreme sports, whether it's skiing or skydiving. You have to be focused on what's there. You can't worry about what's for dinner or are you going to make your airplane flight tomorrow. You're in the moment. And I don't know, I think that's some of the appeal to it, maybe?
Yeah, and I would agree with you. And I think that, I've done a lot of different extreme sports. Like I do skydiving, and I was a wakeboarder and skier and stuff like that. But I talked to a lot of my friends about this, and I really think that kayaking is a little bit unique in some ways. Maybe the closest would be, say, mountain biking. But once you get into that current and say you got a big drop you're coming up to, I mean, you're committed. You can't back out. Like with skiing, you could maybe like last second kind of avoid the thing, or you just let go of the rope if you're water skiing. But in kayaking, I mean, you have to go at it. And then there's this thing, like you said, you're in the moment and you just have to do it.
again, always fun visiting you guys. Just doing the Whitewater Center, hunting for historic markers downtown with Haley in August. I never thought I would get to teach somebody to do a thumbs up. That was cool. So very cool. And oh, your website, untamedscience.com, is that right?
That's right.
All right.
Untamedscience.com, and we try to mix in adventure sports into all the video and science that we actually are doing as our main mission. So.
When I'm telling people about what you do, I kind of describe it as you jump out of an airplane and say, here's how gravity works, kind of a thing. I mean, you kind of mix those things
pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, check out Rob and Haley's website, untamedscience.com, or my website, of course, 50states50days.us. Until next time, thanks for joining us, and we will see you then. Thanks, Rob. Normally I shake somebody's hand. Oh, and I'll send you a mug. Everybody gets a...
A lot of people ask us what Untamed Science is.
That's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be great.
It's
This is Untamed Science.
I love the deep sea.
We're going to try to answer the question, when is acceleration the greatest in skydiving?
But we're not just a bunch of adventurers, we're also scientists and filmmakers.
So we pick a topic, and then we show the practical application of that out in the wild.
Wall clouds forming. We're gonna get a tornado.
Get out of here! Get out! Get out! No! 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 Get out of here!
It looks steep.
This is no ordinary afternoon ride.
I'm already starting to lose track of how many days we've been riding.
So if you like what we're doing, subscribe to our channel.
We're heading to Africa.